What's up, guys? Episode 2 about Sean Pear actually features a little bit less Sean Pear than you might think, and you'll see why. And the title is not clickbait, because had the events of this next story not taken place, there is a chance that Brynlee might not exist today. Brynlee being Jeff's daughter, if you don't know. And I guess it helps if you don't know, maybe for Vinny, or maybe Chad. Sean Pear's sister is Melissa Pear, who is Jeff's wife. They have baby Brynlee. They had a baby, this last year. So, here's the story for Sean Pear that I had come up with. This one always stuck in my mind. This was probably in the 6th grade, very long time ago. Me and Sean we were friends, but we weren't, like best friends, we didn't hang out at each other's places, necessarily, but, when we had classwork, especially in high school, when we did that Mr. Schmear thing, oh my goodness, yeah, so we had a thing where we were supposed to be a present. We ripped the teacher. Like, we would get in groups like that, at school, where we would be similar and we liked each other, so we would be in groups like that, but we never really hung out outside of school too much, necessarily, which makes this kind of even better, because of Melissa and Jeff, we've been able to actually, find that friendship, which is cool, it's a good story, but that's not the story here. So in 6th grade, I want to say it was a Friday, it was going into a weekend, and Sean had asked me, hey, do you want to go sledding on Sunday? This is at an age where sledding was fantastic, and it still is at my age. I love it still. Take the kids all the time. And I was like, absolutely. Like, yes, I want to go sledding, but hey, yes, I want to go sledding. So, we go home, and on Saturday, I, tell my parents, hey, I'm going to go, if it's cool with you guys, obviously. Sean Pear asked if I could go sledding on Sunday, afternoon, over at his house. And of course, my parents are cool. They're like, yeah, of course, like, sure. And so, what ended up... So I was also the kid that liked to procrastinate in school a lot. And so, Sunday morning came, and it was the big day. And I had a school project that was due Monday, which I neglected. It was pretty much just like that, I don't know if anybody watches Family Guy, but it was that exact kid who had about a 15-hour project to do in one day, and just thought that they would get it done somehow. We needed to go to CVS, which wasn't readily available. We had to go get, styrofoam things, and, go to Home Depot to get the glue so I needed all these things, but of course, I think in my mind I was set on spending 3 hours and just accepting that I was going to get a C or a B maybe. Sledding, grades, for me. That's just how I was as a kid. I was like Shawnee, I was the wild card, So, it came out, though, that I had this project due, and my parents were not very happy about this at all. So, when they caught wind of that, it was about 11 or 12 o'clock, and I was supposed to go over to Sean's at 1 or 2. And so, inevitably, I put my tail between my legs, and I had to call Sean and say, hey, man, I can't make it, because I have to do this project, which did end up taking at least 12 hours. We didn't go to bed till 1 or 2 a.m. I do think my parents were purposely doing it A+++, just to try to prove a point that I shouldn't be doing this kind of thing. Which, I mean, the grade was good, but man, I sure wish I was sledding. But what's interesting, and what I always think about with this story is when you're at that age, and you actually start hanging out at a friend's house, especially to do an event that's not a school project. That's really taking, your friendship almost to that next level, right? And so I always wonder, what if that project didn't exist, what if I would have gone to Sean's house, which would have been kind of weird right off the bat, because if you think about it, then Dan Waltz would have met Dan and Susan Pear, you know, well prior to Jeff and Melissa, right? Which is just kind of weird to me, but what if me and Sean would have connected and become really good friends? You can't sit and think about, like, do you think Jeff and Melissa ever would have gotten together? I know. Now, hear me out. Obviously, there's still always that possibility, but there's also this, like, kind of unwritten, maybe not unwritten, but it's kind of weird, right? Like, oh, yeah, I did meet Jeff Waltz. Yeah, it's my brother's best friend's, you know, brother. It's weird, you know, it's kind of strange. My brother's best friend, you know, his brother, I'm dating him, you know, it's got a weird undertone to it, you know, it just seems weird. And so, to me, I always wondered, what would have happened if we would have became best friends that day? It is possible Jeff and Melissa would never have gotten together, which would then, of course, mean Brynlee wouldn't exist. So, that's why I titled this, you know, something along the lines of, if this wouldn't have happened, Brynlee might not exist, because it's true. You know, imagine if, like, okay, Stevens, imagine if, you know, Jeff started dating Haley. That would be weird. It'd be weird. It just would be. And we all know it, you know what I mean? So, anyway. So, Sean Pear, you actually didn't get a lot of, you know, it wasn't so much about you, but at the end of the day, it was, because I just think about what would have happened. And honestly, I would have loved to gone sledding that day. It just didn't happen, and the rest is history. But hey, we came back together after they did, and so, you know, to me, what we got now is better. So, that's the story for today. Kind of a weird one. Hope you like it. We'll see you next time, guys.